Hello and welcome to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Nina Adio, a social media marketing expert specific to the wedding industry. On this show, I discuss tips to help you DIY your social media, as well as getting the confidence and income to outsource it. Thank you for allowing this episode to come through on your Bluetooth, your car radio, wherever it may be you're listening from today. Now, let's take your wedding business to the next level. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's a new week. It's a new day. We've got a new candle burning, a new pot of coffee going. I'm feeling pretty excited today. Today is day 7 of the daily episodes I have been doing here on the podcast. Been doing this from mid-August, and it will be going on until mid-September because I have a lot of exciting things coming up. So I thought, giving some love to the podcast would be a great way to celebrate it. Yesterday, I spoke about event promotion for bridal and wedding showcases, or maybe in-house events and venues. But one event I've been a part of promoting has been the Book More Wedding Summit by Heidi Thompson. And the way she has promoted this summit has been so inspirational to me, and how she's made it easy for everybody in the summit to promote it as well. She really gave us all the tools, graphics, copy, everything. So Heidi's been a huge inspiration. And this episode, I'm going to be sharing an Instagram live I did with her. Part of her promotion for the Book More Wedding Summit, which starts August 22nd. So that's tomorrow if you're listening to this live. But part of her promotion was she set up a Calendly link. So that's an online appointment scheduler. And you could schedule to do an Instagram live with her to promote your presentation and the show. So what was great about this is, one, it was easy for anybody to do. 2, it gets her to my audience. And then 3, it gets me to her audience. So it's just a win-win for everybody. But Heidi and I had a lot of fun and a lot of laughs on it. And that's why I wanted to include it as one of these 30 episodes, especially as we're getting to right before the summit. So if you want to get your free ticket for the summit, you can just go to the show notes of this episode or visit I Do Wedding Marketing on Instagram, and it is in the link in my bio. So just click that and you can grab your free ticket. But for now, let's listen to this Instagram live between me and Heidi Thompson, who you can find at Evolve Your Wedding Business on Instagram. Hello, everybody. Heidi is going to be joining us in a second. So in case you're listening to this on my podcast or on the replay, I'm just going to keep chatting till Heidi's here, because Heidi's from Evolve Your Wedding Business. She's putting together the Book More Wedding Summit. Hello, Matt. Thanks for coming in. I am so excited to be talking about this virtual summit. So that means you can just hit play and stay. Hit play and just watch it while you're working, if you want to do that, however you want to do it. But I see Heidi has joined. So let's see if I invite her. Yes, here we come in. You can ask all your questions about the summit. Thank you, Matt, for shouting out the incredible shirt. Somebody did stop me to say your shirt looks incredible. Hi, Heidi.
Hey there, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I am doing well, thanks. My Instagram has been doing this weird thing where when I join a live, the audio is really quiet. And then I plug in headphones, and then I unplug them, and then it works. And I have no idea why, but I have to do my jankety little fix here.
I have my headphones too, and you reminded me that I didn't put them on. Let's see if I can do it.
There we go.
Joe is that my brother said I'm wearing a sweater because where she is, it's so hot that the idea of wearing a sweater is making her laugh. What time is it where you are, Heidi?
It is 5 o'clock here. I'm in San Diego.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah.
So we're both getting ready to start our nights.
Yeah, kick back for the evening.
Mm-hmm. So how would you like to start this and start our flow and everything?
Well, let's talk a bit about your presentation, because I was really excited to bring you on for it, because it's a topic that I get asked about a lot. And I was looking through the feedback from some of our previous summits, and people were saying, like, I feel really stuck in the beginning and I don't know how to get those, like, first weddings under my belt so I can feel like I can have some credibility in my marketing. And you're talking about building that foundation. So give us a little teaser of what you're covering.
Yeah. So I was thinking a little bit about like my own journey today and how a lot of that relates to somebody starting out in doing a wedding specific service. And a lot of it is having the courage to ask for help or to ask for experience. And I was thinking how when I first heard about your summits, I was like, oh, I'm not on the panel. I'm not one of the people. And then all it took was filling out a form, you introducing myself to you, and then here we are now. So, a lot of it is not being afraid to network digitally, network in person, interact and it will get easier every time. It's going to feel awkward in the beginning, but as long as you're genuine and you're going to the right places, right? I didn't just go to every wedding expert and say, hey, if you want me to speak. I waited for one who was having speakers, and just so a combination of being willing, of opportunity meeting preparedness, be prepared, and then when the opportunity comes, you're going to be able to jump on it.
I love that way of thinking about it, because I think we have to have this, like, somehow perfectly crafted plan of how this is all going to work out, and it never works that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Never. And I'm sure when you were getting started, you had an idea of how it would work. Same here. And it's like, no, you just kind of fumble your way through and learn and figure it out and continue to grow and continue to learn how to build on what you've started.
Yeah. And even though I was doing social media for wedding professionals, it can unfold the same way, where I was showing up on my Instagram. I was showing that I knew what I was talking about. Another wedding professional was hosting her own showcase, and she said, why don't you come and network with some vendors? And that's how I got my first gig. And somebody else could get their first job that way too, by starting to get involved with the community. Don't be afraid that it's all competition, because it's not. If you're a wedding professional in a specific area, you're going to be working with these people a lot. So the goal is to get along, and you want to get along. Even if you're the same, if you're both wedding planners, people refer each other, or I'm booked this date, this person isn't, or you can't afford me, maybe you can, go to my colleague, things like that.
Yeah, that's huge. And I think that's one of those things that in the beginning is a really important mindset to have, that it's not going to be perfect. It's never going to go to plan. You just got to go. And knowing that, like, these people aren't your enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can get so much from the relationships, even with people that you perceive as your competitors. Because, I mean, we all have, so many dates in our calendar that we can do weddings. We don't want to be doing them every single day.
Right. So that's a big benefit. There's not only is there always room for everybody, but there are only 52 weeks in a year. And let's say if you do one a weekend, there are chances are there's going to be more than, look, if there's 16 venues in just a 10-mile radius of you, that means there could be 16 weddings in a weekend. So there's plenty of, that means there's 16 wedding planners can work that weekend,
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'd be curious, if you guys are joining live, let us know how you got your first wedding, because I feel like everyone has a different story. And looking back on it, it's just like, oh, you sweet little baby, you didn't know.
Yeah, that's a fun topic, Heidi, of maybe something you could do on a podcast or something, where everyone shares how they got their first wedding, because that's, just a fun and reminiscent. It's a little bit of like, oh my goodness, too, when you look back on them.
Yeah, like, I can't believe I did this.
Yeah.
So for you guys joining, we are speaking together at Book More Wedding Summit, which is happening next week. I can't believe it. almost here already,
Yeah,
but
it came quick.
yeah, we kick off on Monday, and you can get your free ticket. You can grab in either one of our bios, grab it. You can join us with the free ticket. There are upgrades available if you want to upgrade. And really, this is for anyone who is running any type of wedding business, not specific to like just planners, just photographers, anything like that. And it's also for anyone who wants to attract more of their ideal clients and book more weddings more reliably, more consistently, because all of our topics have to do with that. And there are some really great ones. I'm super excited for people to be able to dig in.
Oh, let's see. Well, first wedding, design the brides. Let's see. Brides and daughters was referred by a friend. So that's another thing too. Some people, I don't know if you've experienced this too, Heidi. In the beginning, you were really shy to tell people that you're starting it or to tell people you know in real life. But they're the people who are going to want to rally around you most or help you, or they don't know that they can help you until you say, hey, I'm starting to do weddings. I'm designing bouquets, whatever it is, and putting that word out there through your immediate circle. It is like ripping off a Band-Aid. It can be really scary to let people know that you've done this, but they're going to support you. It kind of goes to whenever I'm doing a client's social media, the photos of themselves do the best. And that's because all their friends and family react to that photo because they want to cheer you on. They're following you and seeing your wedding work to support you, but it's all about you for them. So by letting them know that you're doing this and taking on this journey, you'll be surprised not only of the support you get, which feels great, but then when they hear someone's married or they hear someone's looking for event services, they're going to think of you, which is really nice.
Yeah, and I mean, that happens for people that are further into their journey as well. If you aren't really clear with who you want to work with, what you're doing, and making that obvious to friends, family, referral partners, other vendors, they can't refer you. Like, they can't know when someone is like, oh, I'm really sick of paying. Like, this is obviously totally outside the wedding industry, but like, oh, like for where I am, these SDG&E bills, electricity bills are ridiculous. We have the highest energy costs in the country. And if someone was like, oh, I got to get solar panels, and you were like, my friend does that. Do you want me to connect you? Like, it's the easiest connection because we kind of categorize people in our minds of like, okay, this is who I send this person to if they have this problem. This is who I send this person to if I have that problem. And people really genuinely love giving referrals because they get to look like the hero. They get to be the one that solves the problem without having to do any of the work.
Yes, I often tell my colleagues and friends when they're looking to make connections on Facebook, I say, don't go into a Facebook group and sell your service. Go into a Facebook group and ask for advice relating to what you do. Because everyone wants to give advice. So if you say, I'm a new wedding planner, if you want to book me, people may not answer. If you say, I'm a new wedding planner and I'm looking to make connections. Do you have recommendations of where I should start? Then all of a sudden everybody's like invested because they want to be the one.
You know, there are actually 2 posts in the Summit Facebook group that have been blowing up over the past week. And one of them is, for people who are brand new, what's a question you want to ask somebody who's more established? And for people who are more established, what's something you want to tell someone who's new? And just the, like, let me dump it all. I want to give you everything.
Yes. That's a great kind of icebreaker, too.
Yeah. It's really fun. It's a great conversation happening in there, and it's a really supportive group. I always really encourage people to like come to that group and ask questions, because during the summit, you know, we're all in there and you have the ability to watch our presentations and be like, hey, that thing you said, I'm not really sure how to apply it to this particular situation. Can you help me work through this? That's not, you know, the kind of conversation you get to have as much at an in-person conference. So
yeah, think a panel of people you have access to. Like, that's huge. Now, can
Yeah.
anyone join the Facebook group? Is it just, do you have to have at least purchase a free ticket? Does that have to be a paid ticket?
So I don't kick people out for not getting their free ticket, but you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff if you haven't gotten the free ticket. So I would highly recommend getting the free ticket. And then
you're crazy not to.
Yeah. We have
people. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we have like, I think it's either 27 or 28 presentations that are just jam-packed.
Well, look, the way I kind of feel about it is if you're going to be at your desk or maybe even in your car at any time, Monday to Friday next week, there's no reason not to have this playing while you're doing it. You know, there's just no reason for it. And even when you take, you know, listening to a podcast, it's very rarely going to be this hyper focused with all of this variety all in a 5-day period. So to get there's just no harm in getting the free ticket and playing it while you work and then getting hooked from there.
Yeah, and if you do decide to pick up the Wedding Pro Power Pack, we actually have a private podcast feed in there this time around.
Oh, look at that.
Of all the presentations.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I love that because sometimes just being able to go around and do housework with my AirPods on and listen, or I like to take walks and play Pokemon Go and listen to podcasts. That's like when I'm in my flow. But knowing I have that option where I can take it around with me, that's really huge.
Yeah, I think that'll be a huge help for people. It's a new thing we added in this time around, and I think it'll help people digest more of it and get through more of it, because like I said, we have a lot of different presentations. I wouldn't recommend trying to get through all of them at the same time. I would say focus on like what you need most, what your weakest link is. You know, do you need to focus on getting that experience? Do you need to focus on marketing? Do you need to focus on sales? Do you need to, like, whatever it is, you know, you can find the presentations that best suit where you're at and what you need in order to move forward.
And having these, when you purchase them, to have them forever, that means it's there for you as your journey evolves. Because it will. Because if you're listening to, I think I'm day 5, the people on day 5 were really talking about establishing that experience. So, you know, if you're listening to that, you may not be ready to listen to marketing to get more bookings yet. You're just looking to get the experience first. So now, rather than trying to cram it all in and remember it, you'll be able to tune back into those other ones, which would be great.
Yeah, it's a huge help to be able to tap into that. And I mean, even if I'm working on something new and I'm like, I know somebody has covered this, and I can go back in and look, and I'm like, all right, okay, Sarah Dunn, teach me what I need to know about. You know?
Oh, I know, that's a good one. That's one I keep telling people, like, to get some tips on SEO. Yeah, that's really huge. I'm wondering, Heidi, are there other features that are new for this year?
Yeah, so we have we have a couple of live sessions that are a bit different. So we're doing some workshops with some of our sponsors. So we have Rock, Paper, Coin, we have Mary, and we have Aisle Planner, and they're all teaching individual sessions. So Mary is teaching about using 3D event mock-ups to actually make sales faster, to make better sales, to get people excited. Trevor from Aisle Planner is talking about customer experience and really using technology to deliver on what people expect, but what they didn't even expect that you can deliver on. And Nora of Rock, Paper, Coin is talking about really streamlining your workflow, because I see it every year. Like, people get into this position where they're like, I want to book more weddings. And then they book more weddings. And then they're like, oh shit.
Why did I book more weddings?
I can't manage all this. I'm not set up for it. So we help you really streamline through that, so you don't, completely overwhelm yourself. We're also doing a tech tools panel. The 3 of them will be on that. Karen from Good Shuffle and Anya from Maru will be on that, and we'll be talking about using tools to make it easier for you to make sales and grow your business. We are using a new platform this year. We're doing a networking session, and we'll also have like kind of little virtual booths with our sponsors. And we're using this tool that I discovered a while back. It's called Toucan. It really allows you to feel like you're at an in-person networking event. Like you're a little bubble in a room, and you get to like move over to this group and then move to this group and, you know, have more fluid conversations. So I'm really excited about that. We have lots of giveaways going on with our bingo game, and I am going to be giving everyone who registers a free trial to my membership, the Wedding Business Collective, and we'll have a panel of members on talking about how to make the most of that for the 30 days after the summit when you're diving in and making the most of it.
That's terrific, because people may not realize that there is community out there for you, and by joining something like your collective, you kind of meet your people, you know, where you're all rooting for each other, and it's not just about yourself. It's kind of like getting group energy out there, which I really love.
Yeah, it's so much more motivating, and it helps too if like other people can hold your feet to the fire. Like, hey, you said you were going to do this thing.
Yes.
Where are you at with that?
And it leads to what we were saying before. Sometimes you'll be like, oh, you're looking for this, so-and-so does this, you know, and putting people together. Because if people don't know what you're doing and what you offer, then they don't know to think of you when the opportunity comes.
Yeah. And obviously, you being in social media, I'm sure you are going to enjoy. Bianca is talking about repurposing content for Instagram.
Yes.
I think a lot of people think they got to start from scratch with everything all the time, and you really do.
No, I love repurposing content. You have to. And there's so many fun, clever things you can do. So I can't wait to see what she says about that. And it really kind of, you know, I've been trying to think of, Sandra Lee used to have this cooking show, Semi-Homemade Cooking. And so I've been trying to think, well, what's semi-homemade social media? You know, because that's what you need when you can't outsource it. And it's doing things like that, like repurposing your content and, you know, sharing things like that and taking elements that are already done, but a little work with it to make it something new.
I love shortcuts. That's like my favorite thing is when I can find like, okay, we can do it the hard way, we can do it the easy way. And you get to choose to do it the easy way. And it works oftentimes better than if you were to start from scratch because you're building on stuff that already works.
Mm-hmm. It's like, well, you know, taking a live stream and uploading it to a podcast episode, repurposing content, and it can be in really basic ways where all you have to do is add on an intro.
It's funny. It feels like cheating, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And Laura Canham is talking about using Instagram stories to make more sales. So I'm very excited to see like that very specific focus on Instagram stories because, I mean, you know, Instagram has like a million different ways that you can use it, a million different ways that you can market on it. I mean, we could do a whole summit just on that.
Yeah.
But being able to pull out these specific things, I'm really excited about because it allows people to go and act on it. Whereas if we tried to do, you know, here's how to do everything.
Yeah, it's a lot on Instagram. It's overwhelming, but the truth is you don't have to do everything. You have to do what works for you and what connects you to your audience.
Yeah.
So stories could be a great thing, especially for somebody who maybe doesn't like the pressure of a feed post. Selling in the Instagram stories could be a great tactic. We just had Say I Do New York just join in, and he is somebody who dominates on Instagram Reels. That is his jam and connection. So I have to give him a little shout out there.
I'm going to have to check out your Reels after that.
Because, you know, you would think, okay, wedding officiant, what can I do for an Instagram Reel? And he goes in and has all these clever ideas and takes something that maybe somebody else wouldn't think could be funny and fun and shows his personality into it. So that's a live example as it came on.
That's awesome. Perfect timing with you joining.
Yes, I think he planned it.
So we've got a lot of topics lined up. You can see all of them. You can see the full schedule, and you can grab your free ticket at bookmoreweddingssummit.com. I believe. Do you have the link in your bio?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So head over there and grab your free ticket, and you can attend totally free, or you can decide to get one of the upgrades, whatever works better for you. But we do have the free option available. And quite honestly, even if you're able to get like one or two things out of this and go actually implement it, which is what all these presentations are designed to help you do, then why not?
Yeah, just, even if you're not going to be available this week, just trust us. Get the free ticket, join the Facebook group, see what people are saying, and then see what presentations you're going to be drawn to. And if you purchase them, you get to watch them later. And I love that he says, if your client is smiling and laughing, you're already connected. That's a great way to kind of ease the pressure on yourself with what you're posting. Just focus on making someone else smile and starting the connection there.
That's smart. That's a very smart way of putting it. I like that. So are there any presentations you've seen or any speakers that you've seen that you're excited to check out?
Definitely Sarah Dunn at Sarah Does SEO, because SEO is something I outsource as well. I don't do it myself. I don't offer that. So getting to hear someone talk about that and knowing that they specialize in it being specific for wedding professionals is really, really huge, because SEO is like eternal. Like, it is just so important. And that's something that, we always say, well, if Instagram shuts down, or what if this happens, but like SEO isn't going anywhere,
No.
So if you can either learn SEO yourself or get connected with someone who knows it, then, you can't go wrong with that. So I'm definitely excited for her presentation, and that Carissa Cruci is going to be on this year. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, Carissa's talking about, well, actually, I can tell you exactly what she's talking about. I have the name right here. Packages and pricing built for profit and an alternative to offering discounts.
She's fantastic. She's fantastic. Like, you need to subscribe to her emails just to see how, like, she's just so consistent with her emails. It just blows me away. Like, she knows, like, she doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the walk. So I love that.
Yeah, and I've seen her presentation already. I get to sneak peek everything. And the thing I really love about it is she's not just talking about pricing and profit as these like amorphous ideas. She's like, okay, get the worksheet. We're going through this. What is this number? Divide by this number. We're going through this. And so you leave knowing, okay, are the packages that I'm offering actually giving me the profit that I want? Or do I need to either make some adjustments to the package? Do I need to make some adjustments to the price? How do I do that? So you'll be able to work all of that out during her presentation. Just like, okay, pause, do a little bit of math, come back.
So 2 things. One, she and I have gotten to know each other, and she's done like every profession, and has like learned about, she did a photo booth, she did photos, she did invitations. So she's going to be able to offer value to everybody. So I think that's really great. And 2, I was wondering if you watch all the presentations beforehand, if you just kind of do a sampling. I mean, you have to, right? But I was just curious as they come in, like if it's like, okay.
Yeah. I try to dig into them. We do transcripts, so it requires we have to wash through them to make sure our transcripts meet like what people are actually saying, because AI is weird and sometimes likes to make up words. Yeah. And, we want the transcripts to be usable on their own, so I have to go through those. But it is really cool to get to see and to learn things even in the process of setting up the summit. Like, oh, okay, yeah, when I'm done with that, I'm going to come back to this because I need to implement that myself.
And let's get you so revved up.
And it's such a cool experience because it's so collaborative. Like, I do a lot of stuff on my own in my business, as you do, but I'm sure, like me, when you get to collaborate with people, it's just more fun. There's more of an impact you can have. It's more powerful. And when you do that with like 24 other people, it's
Yeah, and
a lot of like energy behind it.
hmm and there are a lot of. We were saying how it really is a community-based thing when you're a wedding professional, but you still want to be informed and you still want to have your edge. And by you being someone taking advantage of getting to listen to 28 different experts about the wedding industry speak, that gives you an edge. Like that puts you ahead of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we have people from all over the world that join us for these. Like we have every continent but Antarctica. That one pisses me off because nobody lives there. But one of these days,
we're gonna have to have a wedding there.
but it's so cool because you can find out like, oh, what's going on in Nigeria with wedding? Cool. Like this is an interesting like turn that your market has taken. I wonder like how I can implement something like that in my market. And I think it's a really good way to expand your network beyond, your local subset of vendors that you get to know who are great. But, it could be that someone on the other side of the country, someone on the other side of the world is like your next business bestie that you're just going to click with and be able to help each other, give perspective.
Yeah, and from a social media mindset, I never like to take inspiration from somebody in the location of the venue, the photographer, whatever. But if I can get inspiration from other regions, what are they doing with weddings here? What's popular with weddings here? And then apply it to our region, it just feels a whole lot better. It's a lot fresher. You can bring new ideas because otherwise the brides and grooms will notice too that you're kind of just in this circuit. It's kind of like, okay, this is an older trend, but it's like, all right, you've got a donut wall. Oh no, they do one too. Oh no, they do a donut wall. But somebody was the first one to see like, wow, California's donut walls. Let me do one here.
Yeah, and I think too, even beyond just like what's going on in weddings, I get a lot of inspiration for marketing outside of the wedding industry. Like just seeing what's going on in literally any industry. Like once you start looking for it, I'm sure you probably have this too. You just like see like client experiences with random stores. I'm like, okay.
I see what they're doing. Do you have any favorite industries that aren't weddings to get inspiration from?
When I'm looking at like experience and communication, I think consumer fashion and interior design can be interesting because they're in a similar boat of like, I can't just sell you this piece of cloth for $200. I need to like sell you an experience or who you're going to be when you wear it. And I mean, ultimately, it's all the same materials. So we have to craft, how we're selling it in a different way. So I think any luxury-ish markets, whether it's like fashion or like interior design, things we don't need, but things we like, that's where I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on with the marketing because we're in the same boat. Like, do you have to have a wedding to be married? No. You want to have one. You want to have this experience. Like we're all selling an experience. So being able to see how other places are doing that is really, really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I think it's, I get a lot of inspirations from real estate. And I think it's because of not the luxury aspect of it, but the timing. It's a one-time large purchase, so you're kind of selling to people who are only at a certain point, right? Because
that's a good point.
And then Disney all the time because they're just so ruthless. Like there's just, in the beginning, before Disney had like everything, they would poll all their customers to find out why they left Disney property. It's like, okay, you left to go to the movies, we'll build a movie theater. You left to go to a water park, okay, we'll build a water park. And like, I just loved that. And Starbucks, because on the cups it says that first sip feeling. And every time I see it, I think about, man, they're selling the feeling and they're so freaking right, because that first sip is amazing. So it's like almost like that first kiss feeling, for the weddings, it's the feeling, that you sell.
Yeah, it's funny when you start to look around and see like you're all selling bean water essentially. Mm-hmm. And some people can charge, $7 a cup for it. Some people are charging like 50 cents for it. Right. That's bean water.
You don't get that first sip feeling when you buy it at the gas station.
Exactly.
That first sip fear. Like, okay, let's do this.
No.
That's a good post, Heidi. Are you selling bean water or are you selling coffee?
I love nerding out about this stuff so much. This is going to be my whole week next week, and it's going to be phenomenal.
I can't wait.
So I hope you guys will come join us, because free ticket, why not?
Yeah, exactly. You're crazy not to. It's going to be so much fun. Join the party. Get in the group.
Love it. Well, is there anything else you think your viewers need to know about the summit?
Just that, you're in control of how you consume it, right? Because you can watch on video. If you purchase the ticket, you can get it on the podcast. If you prefer to chat with people, you can go in the Facebook group. Or if you like to have more tangibles, there are workbooks for every presentation, right? So, I mean, that alone is the value. Print out each workbook, and do one each night or review it each night, or, as you get inspired. I'm picturing that everybody has like a weekend away at a lake house, so they'll just take these piles of paper and read them. But whatever it strikes you, so whatever way you learn best, there's a way for that in this summit.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is such like a fun atmosphere of people, genuinely asking questions and sharing takeaways and sharing what they're going to go do. And, oh, hey, I just did this thing and this was the result. And I love seeing that in action, because I love learning. Don't get me wrong, but I love when we actually take action on the things we learn and get the results. That's where it's at.
Yeah. And I thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of it. I learned so much just from your back end of what you do and how organized you are, and your email reminders, and how you're on top of everything, and how easy everything was to upload. It's just been such a delight on every aspect.
Well, thank you. I'm glad it comes across that way. Sometimes I feel like I'm running around like a chicken with its head cut off, but solid system.
No, I would have no idea. I would not go, that lady's had too much bean water.
Fabulous. So be sure to grab your ticket. It has been a joy talking.
Yes. Thank you so much for making the time.
My pleasure, and I'll see you next week.
Yay. All right. Thanks so much. Good night, everybody.
Bye. Take care.
So I told you we'd have laughs. So we had laughs. It's really fun when you get to kind of just talk shop with somebody else. I think that's why I like doing the podcast so much, because I can just talk shop to myself, because I don't always have somebody, to talk with. But once again, the link for that is going to be in the show notes or at my Instagram profile at I Do Wedding Marketing. If you fell in love with Heidi during this episode, which why wouldn't you have, you can find her on Instagram at Evolve Your Wedding Business. And she also offers a collective community for wedding professionals. So I'll leave a link in the show notes for everything Heidi does so that you can be a part of it. But for now, I hope you'll subscribe, because I will be back tomorrow with another episode. Don't forget, if you're enjoying this, to take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram or Facebook so I can share it with my audience, or to leave a review, because that helps this podcast to grow. See you tomorrow, guys.